Today, we're hitting the road with destinations that pay homage to car crazies, from a drive-in theater to a drive-in restaurant to a store that highlights the hot rod.
Travel with AAA's Discover Oklahoma.
Hi, and welcome to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. I'm Jennifer Reynolds.
And I'm Dean O'Lally.
This week, we're discovering destinations via our trusty road trip machine, the Ford Explorer.
That's right. We love this vehicle so much that it inspired us actually to compile a list of travel stops where we wouldn't even have to leave the car.
In fact, Shel Wagner found a way to watch a movie from inside the Explorer at one of the few drive-ins still thriving around our state, the Beacon up in Guthrie.
Viewing movies under the stars is not a new concept. It's an American invention, and the first drive-in theater opened back in 1933. By the late 50s, more than 4,000 outdoor screens were in business across the country, and many of those were right here in Oklahoma, giving our car-loving and pickup truck-loving society something they could do from their vehicles. But land values eventually choked out the drive-in theater business, and today only a smattering of those theaters still survives. One that does is the Beacon in Guthrie. I hadn't been to a drive-in since I was a kid, and my girls had never been, so we loaded up the Ford Explorer and headed toward Logan County. Admission price is per person and cheaper than an indoor theater, and what we found just past the gate was an ambiance that felt like a great big family reunion.
It seems like at the drive-in you'll see a lot more social interaction amongst people and the kids, and I encourage everyone to turn the kids loose and let them have a good time.
This family-friendly vibe is brought to you by a family. Marsh and Nancy Powell own and operate the Beacon Theater and have since the mid-'80s. They took it over from Marsh's dad, who had taken it over from his dad. The girls and I took it all in, trying to get in step with modern drive-in theater etiquette. If you come expecting a windows steamed up sort of thing, you're in for a surprise. Today's drive-in movie theater experience is more like a tailgate party. An open the hatch, kids in their PJs, bring your own lawn chair and visit kind of an evening. Movie start times change week to week, a slave to the sun and when it decides to set. And moviegoers like to come early to the Beacon, up to an hour prior to the start of the feature presentation. If you want to do this thing right, then it's customary to load up on snacks at the concession stand.
We serve pizzas, hot dogs, corn dogs, popcorn. We have ice cream, lots of candy, and try to keep it all at a real reasonable cost to our customers.
There is still the ramp system, you might remember, built-in curbs allowing cars to park at varying heights so everybody can see the screen, plus other delicious nostalgia.
We still have the old-time speaker poles, plus we have radio sound on top of that, plus we have pretty loud speakers around our building.
The Beacon Theater recently upgraded to digital projection, giving a modern twist to this distinctive slice of Americana. Whatever it takes to keep the experience fresh and to keep folks driving in. But it's not always easy to be the last one standing. As you can imagine, the industries that used to support the drive-in business went away when the theaters did.
There used to be crews that traveled around that came by and did all your painting and did all your cleaning, hard cleaning and stuff like that, and just general repairs if anything goes down to get it back up for the next day.
Over the past few years, Marsh and Nancy have learned to be jacks of all trades.
I'm talking mowing, painting screens. Like I said, if the equipment goes down overnight, we stay up and work on equipment all night.
You make the food, your wife makes the food.
Yeah, my wife takes care of all the concession.
The Beacon is so clean and well maintained that it has become a popular venue for company parties and private events. But the crowd it draws for its nightly movies continues to grow too. There were more than 200 cars there the night we went.
Our customer base is probably the greatest it's ever been, and we get complimented every night for what we're doing.
Just as its name suggests, in a sea of forgotten theaters that have long since gone dark, The lights still shine at the Beacon Drive-In, calling home your fondest memories and standing by to help you and your family make some new ones. In Guthrie, I'm Shel Wagner.
To plan your evening at the Beacon Theater in Guthrie, just go first to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com for all the information that you'll need.
Dudes have always loved their wheels. We were actually just talking off camera a few moments ago that we discovered our first car back in high school was actually the same make and model.
This is an amazing coincidence. It was the Ford Custom 500, this amazing old car. You could seat 6 up front and put maybe another 6 in the trunk.
I think so,
The thing
and
was
still have
giant.
room to spare.
Yeah.
Well, to us at the time, it was a hot car, and there's a place in Broken Arrow where you can buy hot car inspired gifts.
Just about anything you'd be looking for.
Imagine pulling up to these gas pumps and finding the price at how much? Well, I'm sorry to say it is too good to be true, but here at the Hot Rod Alley Classic Storage Station, you will find a lot of items that can transport you back to the good old days of hot rodding. This is a nostalgia lover's mecca located close to Route 66 in Broken Arrow, and for owner Bob Hancock, it all started with a hobby.
It's just something I've always been interested in. For a long time, I've restored old cars, built race cars, and been involved in that type of thing, and always restored old gas pumps and got into jukeboxes. Thought it'd be a fun place to have some place to sell that stuff, but it would never work as a standalone business. There's just not enough business there. So when I built the mini storage here, we decided to build a replica of a service station on the front of it and have a place to sell the stuff that I restore.
Bob says a good part of his inventory is sold online, and the majority of his time is spent restoring old gas pumps.
And we kind of specialize in stuff from the 30s up through the mid-50s. It seems to me that that's the most popular right now. It's the guys that had the muscle cars when they were in high school, and these were the gas pumps as they saw then. And now that they're decorating their garage or their man cave or whatever, they want one to put in there. So I buy these old pumps wherever I can. Usually they've been sitting in a field forever and they're rusty and nasty. So we strip them completely, sandblast them inside and out, and just completely start over and finish them with automotive quality paint. So they're actually better than they were to begin with.
Now, a lot of the signs on the wall are reproductions because the old ones are just getting too difficult to find. There are stoplights too, and this four-way light from the 30s can't help but get your attention when you walk in the store.
A lot of the things that we have in here, people just bring to us. We've been here for 8 years now. People know that we're around, and people will call or come by and they found these things and want to get rid of them, or they've sat in their garage for years and they never got around to restore them, so now they want to get them out of the way.
There are a variety of items from which to choose from all kinds of signs and t-shirts. By the way, with the Old Guys Rule t-shirts being the most popular. The Hot Rod Alley Classic Storage Station is a great place to relive the good old days, reflect, and realize nostalgia is a fun pastime, and it always makes for a lively destination.
For more information on Hot Rod Alley gifts and nostalgia in Broken Arrow, their store hours and more, just make a quick trip over to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
We have lots more Ford exploring still to come.
We're going to head to Lawton next, in fact, and visit another kind of drive-in, and this one's known all over southwestern Oklahoma.
There are drive-ins and there are drive-ins, but this favorite in Lawton has become an institution. We'll have the details for you when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues right after this.
On the road, one never knows what lies ahead.
Indubitably, almost every week, one encounters bad form from Sunday drivers.
Sheer rudeness begets the occasional fender bender.
Precisely why we have insurance from AAA.
Hear, hear.
A name drivers can trust.
Especially good ones.
Especially great ones.
Cheers!
Plenty of room to swing a rope. Plenty of heart and plenty of hope.
Oklahoma weather rig, sweeping down the plain.
And the waving wheat
Can sure smell sweet.
When the wind comes right on the ring. Oklahoma every night.
My honey lemon eye.
sit alone and talk.
And watch ya hop.
Making lazy circles in the sky. You know we belong to the land. And the land we belong to is grand. And we say,
We're only saying
ain't no doing fine, Oklahoma. Oklahoma! O-K-L-A-H-O-M-A, Oklahoma. Okay!
Oklahoma, come see for yourself.
Daddy, look, a beaver.
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh, no.
Until there's an impenetrable force field to protect your car from woodland creatures, there's the next best thing, insurance from AAA.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. Ford exploring all over the state this week.
Now, earlier, Shel Wagner took us on a family adventure to a Guthrie drive-in, but now we're going to go to a different kind of drive-in.
Now, you knew we'd get around to food eventually. Our photographer, Walt Cox, comes from the town of Lawton. He told us about an iconic drive-in there that's been part of the culture for generations. It's lunchtime at Wayne's Drive-In on Sheridan in Lawton, and as usual, it's busy. If you grew up here, you know about Wayne's. After all, it's been here since 1951.
In 1950, my dad, whose name's Wayne, and a friend actually opened up a restaurant in Arvin, California. And it was a little trailer, and they ran that for about a year, and then they moved back to Oklahoma and opened up in 1951 a little trailer down close to downtown here in Lawton. At one time, he had 3 locations in Lawton.
Chuck Absher's the second generation at Wayne's, and the third generation is at the other location on Cash Road. Chuck not only owns the place, he works here too, because if you aren't working here at lunchtime, you're just in the way. What looks like chaos is really an efficient system that takes in orders and gets food out the door quickly to the hungry masses, many of whom have been coming here for years, and most of them with a favorite menu item.
I get the cheeseburger with mayonnaise.
That in Wayne speak would be the Sissy Burger.
Well, the Sissy Burger is kind of unique. They initiated that back, in the 50s because for somebody wasn't man enough to eat mustard on their hamburger. So they had it's made with mayonnaise, lettuce, tomatoes.
Burgers might be the mainstay at Wayne's Drive-In, but there are lots of other things on the menu, and if you ate here back in the 50s, you're going to recognize your old favorites.
We have added a few things like cheese sticks or some drink items like sweet tea, things like that, but overall it's pretty much the same.
There's something that's not on the menu that Wayne serves up all the time, and everybody knows about it. It's romance.
What do you like about the place?
The nostalgia. Wayne's been here for many years. I remember it when I was a little boy, coming here with my parents and aunts and cousins.
Did you ever drive your car around here trying to pick up girls?
Not since high school.
My best friend met his wife here, and I've heard numerous other stories like that. One of the girls that's working here today met her husband here, so I've got several friends who met their wives here.
Oh yes, Wayne's Drive-In in Lawton, where marriages and burgers are made. And apparently, if you come here once, you'll be back, no matter how far you roam.
We get people all the time who come back from Dallas or Houston or wherever, and they'll say, the first stop's Wayne's. So.
That's got to feel good.
It feels good. It feels good.
The online listmaker site Thrillist recently named Wayne's Drive-In as one of the top 10 drive-in restaurants in America. To plan your visit to Wayne's and to other classic Lawton attractions, go first to travelok.com.
All right, we have lots more coming up.
We're really driven this week with lots more car-centered escapes, or maybe we should say explorations, still to come.
That includes a museum that celebrates a famous ride. We'll tell you all about it when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns in 2 short minutes.
We had some family members that had switched to AAA, and they kept telling us how much money they were saving and kept telling us that we should look into it. And so we decided that we should go see what we could do. We have 3 kids, and there's not a lot of money left at the end of every month, and so any penny that you can save is a big deal. AAA was something I always heard of when I was growing up, and when people talked about it, they talked about it in a reliable way. And so when we switched to AAA, it was something that we just trusted from the beginning. It ended up saving us quite a bit. Our Car insurance alone saved us probably about $600 a year. Our life insurance, we were actually able to double our coverage, and our premium still went down close to about half as well. Again, it's not something you ever want to think about as you grow up and become a grown-up with a family, but it's definitely something that you need to have. Having insurance is important. Having affordable insurance that you can trust is a blessing.
Every night,
My honey lemon eye.
sit alone and talk.
Watch a hawk.
Making lazy circles in the sky. You know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand.
We're only saying
You're doing fine, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, come see for yourself.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma, exploring destinations around our state worth the drive.
Now, my oldest son started driving about 6 months ago, and it's still nerve-wracking when he gets in his truck and takes off for wherever he might be headed.
Well, imagine if your grade school age kids came to you and said, Mom, Dad, see ya, we're headed for New York. And there's no cell phone, no GPS, there weren't even paved roads yet. We're talking about Bud and Temple Abernathy.
Now, what they did was historic for any era, for that matter, and Shel Wagner tells us you can find out all about the Abernathy boys when you swerve into Frederick.
In the early 1900s, two young boys from Frederick were every bit as famous as Hollywood movie stars. Lewis and Temple Abernathy had become celebrities in their own right, but many already knew of their father, Jack Abernathy, a rugged outdoorsman who gained notoriety when one day he took on an angry wolf who was trying to kill his dog. And in the process learned of a skill he hadn't realized he had when his hand accidentally went down the wolf's throat.
And he could hold him with the lower jaw. And he found out that he could catch him alive. So after that, he became Catch 'em Alive Jack. Teddy Roosevelt had heard about this man in Oklahoma catching these wolves by his hand, so he set up a big wolf hunt out east of Frederick here. There's 450,000 acres of Indian land out there, and they spent several days hunting wolves out there with Teddy Roosevelt. So Teddy made him U.S. Marshal after that. And when Temple was 5 and Bud was 9, they decided they wanted to go across the country and do some ventures like their dad had. So they talked their dad into letting them ride from the Crossroad Ranch on horseback, and this was in 1909, to Roswell, New Mexico, and then on to Santa Fe, New Mexico, to see the governor, because Jack was a good friend of the governor. So they made this ride and come out real good. The next year, Teddy Roosevelt was coming back off of a big hunt, and he was coming into New York, and is going to have a big parade for him. So the boys talked their daddy in, letting them ride their horses by themselves all the way to New York City.
Town by town, the cheering crowds grew, and Temple and Lewis Abernathy were considered royalty.
Their daddy gave them a checkbook for supplies. The people they give the checks to didn't cash very many of them. They kept them for souvenirs.
By this time, the boys had reached the ripe old ages of 10 and 6. Old enough, they figured, to have their own car.
They'd found this little brush automobile and got their daddy to buy it for them. It cost $400-something. So they drove that car back all the way from New York City back in home.
The brothers would have more adventures, including a cross-country odyssey. And their stories have spurred books, monuments, a new museum in Frederick, and even a festival.
Every year we have in celebration to them, we have a chuck wagon dinner down on the Crossroads Ranch.
Right on the property where the boys grew up.
You know, those kind of boys is what's made America what it is today. They had adventure in them.
Mark your calendar for the first Saturday in June to be a part of this event in Frederick, or visit the museum open year-round. Both are as much a tribute to the spirit of the American West as they are to the spirited Abernathy boys. In Frederick, I'm Shel Wagner.
Find out more about Frederick, all there is to do in that area, by going to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
We're not finished yet, so don't go away.
Time to drive to Dewey to learn about a superstar. He got his business start here in Oklahoma. We'll tell you about him when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns right after this.
He's been our insurance agent for the last 6 years.
But the year before that, he was the best man at my wedding.
Asked him if I could quote his auto insurance, to which he said, yes, but you're gonna have to beat the company I've been with for forever in order to get it.
I didn't think they'd be able to.
So I took the opportunity to quote it, and I was able to save him about $600 a year.
Man, I was just like, boom shakalaka, like, are you kidding me?
He actually said that on the phone, boom shakalaka.
You know, saving money with AAA means food on the table for my family. Even after he saved us tons of money, he's looked at our policy over the years and helped us make changes to save even more money without us asking.
We offer the best of both worlds. We have great customer satisfaction through the level of service that we provide, and combined with an amazingly low rate that most companies out there cannot even come close to.
You know, as a parent and as a husband, I know that AAA is going to take care of us. I don't have to worry about it. AAA is going to be there. Levi's going to be there. They're going to take care of our needs.
Motor Trend asked truck owners who aren't driving a Ford to take the EcoBoost Challenge.
Ford, I'm impressed.
Ford F-150 with EcoBoost technology versus Chevy Silverado.
Silverado is struggling right now. The F-150 just totally outperformed it.
It made towing that huge boat around very easy.
I'm very surprised that it's a V6.
I would pick the Ford if I had my choice between the two.
Get a Ford F-150 with 0% financing for 60 months or up to $7,250 in total savings at your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back. AAA Oklahoma makes this show possible and does a lot of other great things around our state. Here's a look at today's AAA.
Hi, Chuck May here with AAA Oklahoma. There's nothing worse than getting stranded on the side of the road. Whether you're locked out, have a flat, out of gas, or need a jump, you can count on AAA to be there for you. One of our newest features, which you won't find offered by any other National Motor Club, is the AAA Mobile Battery Service. AAA's battery service comes to you in any metropolitan area of the state for free battery testing and diagnostics. Our trained technicians will check your vehicle's charging system, starter system, battery cables, and can even detect if there's a drain on the battery that's causing failure. If your battery needs to be replaced, it can be purchased at a special member discount and installed on the spot. Plus, all AAA battery service replacements come with a 6-year warranty, and we'll recycle the old one for free. Just one more way AAA keeps you on the go. To learn more, visit AAA.com.
AAA for the ones who matter most to you.
We are exploring in our wonderful Ford Explorer. We're finding getaways that are worth the drive, and guess what? Dewey certainly fits that bill.
There's a museum in Dewey dedicated to a cowboy who was at one time the biggest Western movie star in the world. During the 1920s, there was probably no more famous man in the world than Tom Mix. He was a film star. Books were written about him. He was earning as much as $10,000 a week as America's favorite cowboy. Fame had come quickly for Tom Mix because just a decade earlier, he was the night marshal in Dewey, Oklahoma.
Now, he also was a very astute horseman. His father owned a stable when he was a young man or a child back in Pennsylvania. So he learned to ride and wrangle horses at an early age. Now that paid off for him very well here because there was a movie company that came to town looking for a stampede scene.
In Dewey, they celebrate Tom Mix's life at the Tom Mix Museum, and they're very proud that this town north of Tulsa launched the career of one of the giants of early films. That stampede scene for Selig Studios in 1909 was the first of 336 films featuring Tom Mix. When the talkies came along, Tom Mix came too. This is a scene from My Buddy the King with a very young Mickey Rooney. You can see that film along with others at a small theater inside the Tom Mix Museum. The museum has a bigger-than-life replica of his favorite horse, Tony. You can also see costumes from his movies, part of his collection of firearms, a fabulous collection of movie stills, and something that Tom Mix Museum in Pennsylvania doesn't have, the suitcases.
The story is that he was driving this Cord automobile and came up on this construction site, was driving too fast and went down around, supposedly, and in all the bumping and what have you, this was a convertible. These two suitcases somehow or another got loose, and the story is he got a broken neck out of it.
Yes, those suitcases did what no movie bad man could. They killed Tom Mix. It was in Arizona in 1940, but the world hasn't forgotten Tom Mix. Thousands come to the Tom Mix Museum to remember a man who was the quintessential good guy, the real hero in the white hat. The Tom Mix Museum in Dewey is open all day, Tuesday through Saturday, and also on Sunday afternoons. But don't go in January. The museum is closed in the month of January. You can learn more about Tom Mix and see the nation's most comprehensive collection of his personal property at the Tom Mix Museum in Dewey. Just plan your trip at travelok.com. That's our show for this week. We hope we've inspired you to get out there and explore some great Oklahoma destinations yourself.
And we also want to thank you very much for watching.
Next week, destinations you have to see to believe. Your next escape begins with a B. From barbecue at a mouth-watering spot in Muskogee to a B&B in Mangum that comes by its European ambiance authentically, plus lots of other bee discoveries from a bakery to actual bees that buzz. Hope you'll be watching.
So until next time, remember,
there's always something to discover or explore in Oklahoma. Production vehicle provided by the Oklahoma Ford Dealers, official partner of the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department.